Keeping a conversation going with a girl should not really be a problem because women, by their very nature, are talkative. But apparently, a lot of men, especially young men, have a problem in keeping a conversation going with a girl. They just run out of topics, shy away from basic flirting, and struggle in coming up with interesting things to chat about. But not anymore, because right now in today's video, I will tell you everything about the topic of conversation avenues. Knowing it will allow you to keep a conversation alive with any woman and get rid of all your conversation struggles. So, like and subscribe right now, and let's begin. First of all, you have to understand the concept of conversation flow. In simple words, conversation flow means in what direction the conversation is going and how many topics are changing throughout the course of the conversation. For example, let's say two people are talking about the stock market by saying things like, Speaker 1, you know what? If there is money to be made somewhere, then it's the stock market. Speaker 2 replies, yeah, even I believe that stock investing is one of the best ways of combating inflation. Speaker 1 says, I agree, inflation is rising too, and we all have to do something about it. The government needs to do something about it. Speaker 2 replies, yeah man, inflation is a curse, and the current government is not handling it very well. Speaker 1, yeah, I always knew that politician A will never be a good president. Speaker 2, me too, I voted for politician B, things were so better in his term. Speaker 1, agreed, but you know what? We can't really depend on any politician. We have to invest somewhere if we want to build a fortune. Speaker 2 says, I agree, but when I hear about all the risks involved on Wall Street, I get nervous. A relative of mine lost more than $2,000 on a single trade. Isn't that crazy? Speaker 1 responds, what? That's crazy, man, but a friend of mine told me that trading is not the only way of making money on Wall Street. He believes in something called dividend investing. Speaker 2 replies, really? Tell me more about it. And on we go. Over here, you see that the conversation started with the topic of stock market, then went on to the topic of inflation, which later shifted to the topic of general politics, then came back to the topic of stock market, and then they both started discussing about third parties telling each other about their friends and family who lost and made money, ultimately ending up on the topic of dividend investing. So, this was the flow of this conversation: stock market, inflation, politics, stock market risk, third party discussion, and then dividend investing. Now, here, each and every one of these individual topics in this conversation flow is what's called a conversation avenue, a simple topic about which two people are talking about. During a conversation, we always start with one topic and keep exploring that one avenue before switching the topic or ending the conversation. Your job for keeping a conversation going is to keep switching between interesting topics to maintain this conversation flow. Just when one topic is about to end, switch it to some other related topic by either using a storytelling sequence or asking a question. Here is an example of how you can do it. Let's say you're talking about food with the girl you like. She tells you that she likes to eat pizzas, and you talk about pizzas for a while, discussing your preferred flavors and talking about stuff like how pineapples don't belong to the pizza. And just when you feel like you have exhausted the topic of pizza, say something like this. You know, apart from pizzas, there are a lot of other things in Italian cuisine that are worth eating, especially the desserts. Then wait for her to respond, and she will probably say something like, yeah, I like Italian desserts as well. Then you can say, oh really, what's your favorite? And now you have shifted from the initial topic of pizzas to Italian desserts, while maintaining the same conversation tone. Now, the tone of the conversation is the general category of the topics. In this example, the tone of the conversation is food and cuisine. You just changed the topic from one kind of food to the other kind of food to maintain a flow. In the previous example of the stock market, the tone of the conversation was business and finance. No matter how many topics changed, the speakers were still speaking in the tone of business, the same way this example speaks in the tone of cuisine. Now, there is a way of changing the tone of the conversation to maintain the flow as well. In fact, understanding how to change tones is extremely important since you have to change between friendly and normal tones to sexual, romantic, and flirty tones going ahead. Here is an example of this. First, let's change the tone from food to tourism. You can say something like this. By the way, apart from the food, there are a lot of good visiting places in Italy as well. What do you think? After that, she might say something along the lines of, "Oh, yeah, there are." Then you can say, "Yep, what's your favorite?" After that, she can say, "Oh, I really like Venice." Then reply, "That's a lovely city. I like Sicily." Then she can ask you what you like in Sicily or say something like, "Oh, that's cool." After that, you can say, "You know what? One day, let's visit Italy together. What do you think?" Then she can say, "Oh, that's sweet. Why not?" And you can reply, "Yeah, you can have fun in Venice all you want while I bring you your favorite pizza margherita and pasta carbonara." And job done. If you look closely, not only you have successfully elongated the conversation while building massive rapport, you have also implanted the thought of her going to a date-like trip with you in her mind. This is called using an influencing command in a covert way. If you don't know about influencing commands, then I've talked about them in one of my videos which you can watch by clicking on the I button above. Now, let's head back. And let's say that after talking about Italian cities, you now want to change the tone to something more direct, something more easier to turn romantic. Then you can say something like this. Speaking of Italy, it's making me crave Italian so much. And after she says me too, you can reply, "Yeah, I honestly wish to have dinner in a good Italian restaurant with a glass of fine Italian wine. What do you think about it?" After that, she can say something similar to, "I think that's great." Then you say, "Well, I won't really mind having food with you though, or even cooking something for you if that is what you would like." Wait for the response and she would say something like, "Really, that's so sweet of you. Thanks." Then say, "Oh, it's no big deal. But I guess a restaurant is way better, right? My favorite is ABC restaurant, but XYZ one is a good one as well. What do you think is better, ABC or XYZ?" Let her answer and choose between the two and then say, "Now that is what I call a great choice. Let's hang out together for lunch someday at your favorite place. Are you free this Saturday or Sunday?" And there you go. Now you just used the same technique that I taught in my video on how to ask a girl out and won a date. You see, this is the actual real world way of charming a girl into submission. This way, you make her want to spend time with you and build a massive rapport while slowly increasing the sexual and romantic tension. In our tactical attraction dating course, we teach you everything about how to change conversation tones to sexual and romantic ones so that you are easily able to increase the heat with any woman you want. In fact, I want you to click on the first link in the description right now because that link will take you to a free video lecture about tactical attraction hosted by my friend Brandon, who will introduce you to our benchmark technique called the 3 magic word formula. Combining the magic word formula with any technique will allow you to become irresistibly seductive and charm any woman to the point where she starts to daydream about getting naked with you. But keep in mind that the 3 magic word formula is a premium strategy and exclusive to our paid program. The amount of value I provide you on this channel is just the tip of the iceberg. And the free video lecture will give you a complete overview of what marvels await you in our paid course. If you are interested in enrolling right away, then click on the Buy Now link, which is the second link in the description. On the contrary, if you are interested in more free content, then subscribe to my channel right away and binge watch the videos over here. And don't forget to visit the free training by clicking on the first link in the description. The final decision is totally yours, but I personally recommend you to get tactical attraction right now and change your dating life forever.